This guard is fucking walking through a wall.
No,
We're lagging out.
Damn it, dude.
Damn it.
No. Why?
Yeah.
Alright, I know why you're here. You know why I'm here. You clicked on this video because you want to figure out if Payday 3 is actually good. So today, we're going to be doing a full review, and at the end, we're going to ask ourselves, is Payday 3 actually good? With that out of the way, let's just jump right into it. 10 years after the release of Payday 2, we finally have the latest installment to the Payday saga, Payday 3. Developed by Starbreeze Studios, Payday 3 is a multiplayer first-person shooter in which you and up to 3 other friends make up an infamous heist crew that commits various high-level crimes around New York City. Long story short, in this title, you lost all your money from the last game and you're trying to rebuild your arsenal to take it back. The game currently retails for $40 and is available on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. It's also worth noting that if you're an Xbox Game Pass member, you're able to download this for free. Jumping right in, let's get into the mission and level design. Payday 2 originally dropped with 12 total heists, whereas this game dropped with 8 heists in total. Side note, these can be played through in any order, but you have to complete a heist to unlock its corresponding story cutscenes. Now don't get me wrong, the missions in Payday 3 are definitely much more intricate than a lot of the early Payday 2 missions. The levels for each heist are quite massive and have a lot of tasks to complete whether you're going in loud or stealth. They're really fun too, but it just feels a bit underwhelming to receive such little content after 10 whole years. And I know they haven't been working on it that whole 10 years, but you get what I'm saying. Like, this really has me thinking they've already got other maps in the works, they just didn't want to drop them without a separate paywall like they did most of the Payday 2 content. There's also not much originality in the level designs. I understand it's a heist game, so it's going to have the classic bank or jewelry store. Yes, and they're completely new banks and new jewelry stores, but it would be nice to have something newer than that. Like last Payday we hit the whole White House, why can't we go to some other big government building or like the Smithsonian or something? As far as replayability goes though, I mean, this is a huge saving grace for the game. Each mission basically has its own milestones you can like set out for. Whether you're trying to beat it solo or in a team, loud or quiet, or on any of the various difficulties. And for speedrunners out there, it's fun to try and race yourself for other people's times. I will say though, I feel like most people are going to hit those milestones like rather quick, and the real fun's just going to boil down to the speedruns. Next, the lobbies are quite unbearable. My first time jumping on, I thought I was just going to hop in a solo game, start checking stuff out, but they don't even have any sort of offline or solo mode. Like, wait, what? I mean, this is so incredibly basic, but just straight up missing from the new title. If you want to play solo, you have to queue up in an invite-only lobby just searching for yourself. Like, who are we looking for? Also, whenever you make it into the actual lobby screen, nothing seems to quite work at all. A lot of the times the favors wouldn't even register, or trying to change loadouts wouldn't actually change at the start. And the favor screen is super bare bones now. You used to get a whole blueprint of the map, but there just isn't even that anymore. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the different playing styles, loud and stealth. Starting with stealth, there's a lot of improvements to the older systems they made that are honestly pretty nice. In a previous video, I went over some of the most major things I found while playing the beta, and I'll leave a link to that in the description. I personally don't think stealth is easier per se, I just think it's much more forgiving than the last Payday. In Payday 2, if you got caught in any way, that was wraps for the entire run. But in here, you're able to get away with getting caught much easier, whether it's getting escorted out or breaking out of cuffs or whatever. There's still a lot that makes it hard, like lead guards with greater roam, or the phone hacks you have to do, and these maps have a ton of loot that's really spaced out everywhere. Overall, the stealth is pretty fun. I feel like it's a much more involved way of playing too. There's a lot more brain power going into the game with stealth. Now the gunplay is definitely more fun and feels better than Payday 2, but I feel like when you go loud, it can get a little boring quick unless it's with friends. Even with the different levels, it can start to just feel like the same cycle of hold this area, mag dump, go hold this area, mag dump. I found that with my friends, we would just go do loud missions to get quick XP and cash so we could have better stuff for our stealth runs. I know not everybody plays this way, there's probably some people that just live for that horde style gameplay loud brings. This is just how I personally felt during my playing experience. Kinda building off that, I want to get into how this game plays compared to Payday 2. First off, the FPS is a little all over the place. For some reason, the intro bank runs like crap for me, but on most of the other maps, I'm able to get up around 140 FPS and chill there during stealth. It starts to kind of roller coaster on loud missions depending on what's happening on the screen. The movement and mechanics all honestly feel pretty nice and responsive though. Running feels smooth, the mailing feels good, and they've added sliding that works pretty well too. The only thing that doesn't really feel fluid is some of the prompts when you're trying to move really quick. Sometimes grabbing hostages or tying them up will take a little longer than it should. Enough to like throw you out of your groove, you know? Alright, now let's get into some of the smaller stuff like cosmetics, weapons, and perks. The cosmetics are pretty cool, and there's a good bit of options to choose from with each piece of gear. But they've taken out the detection scale for what you're wearing. For those of you who don't know, Payday 2 had a character detection meter based on how sus your character was dressed. It would take into account the bulk of your weapons, outfit, and any armor you were wearing. But in here in Payday 3, it's just completely X'd out of the game. It doesn't really feel like something that was a problem in 2, so I guess it just would have taken too much time to put in 3 by release date. I've got no idea. It was cool though. There's also a lot of different weapons to choose from, but I feel like the choices of attachments is way lower than what was available in Payday 2. Like I was instantly thinking, where in the hell are all the laser sights? I didn't see one for any weapon. Next, the perk system got completely reworked from the trees in the previous title. Personally, I like the older system a bit better, but I feel like the new system is still pretty balanced. You're able to make a pretty good build for either stealth or loud with the max 21 points available. Switching on over to visuals, I mean this game definitely looks a lot better than the previous rendition. Payday 2 was made on Diesel Game Engine, which was originally developed in 2001. Payday 3 is developed on Unreal Engine 4, so it feels like they straight crawled out of the Stone Ages. I mean, Payday 2 never looked terrible or anything, but the graphics and lighting for this new game are certainly an upgrade. It's nice. The game also has cutscenes, but they're just slideshows of pictures with characters talking. I mean, this is alright and all, but if they were trying to make a more compelling and immersive story, it doesn't really help. Half the time you don't even really know exactly who's talking, and the way the mission screen is set up, it doesn't really flow like a story. Like, you don't even have to watch all these if you don't want to. You would have to specifically want to check out the world they're trying to build. Most people aren't even playing Payday for the narrative anyways, but it's worth mentioning since that's the route they went. The game's audio isn't bad, but it's nothing to write home about either. Like, I'm not upset or anything about it, but there's not anything in here that was like exceptionally good or exceptionally bad worth noting. The loud missions have a nice adrenaline-filled, upbeat tone, and the stealth missions have a nice, suspenseful spy theme going on. Oh, my man Ice-T also took a little break from Law & Order to come do a cameo voiceover for one of the missions, so that's kinda cool.
Start to degrade and lose value. Now, do what you need to do.
Alrighty, it's about that time. What, y'all thought I wasn't gonna talk about it, huh? Now let's get into the bugs and issues for this bad boy. There's no real nice way of putting it, but this game dropped in a horrible state. It was basically unplayable for the first few days of release. It would take forever to even sign on, forever to matchmake, and even if you were lucky enough to make it in the game, it would most likely crash in the middle of the playthrough. Even at the time of writing this, it still crashes rather consistently. It's just a lot easier to actually get games going now. Also, while playing with friends, we'd have issues with people not being able to ready up, or bags just completely disappearing off the map. You couldn't see them, but they were there. Really it was just all bad, all sorts of insanity. This isn't all exactly Starbreeze's fault though. Over the launch weekend, Payday 3 had a peak concurrent player count of over 218,000, and a peak unique player count of over 1.3 million. The root of this issue really comes from a third-party matchmaking software that just wasn't quite ready for the massive influx of players to the servers. There's no doubt that over time, Starbreeze will work to fix these problems. It's just a little sad that this is the product that we have currently. With all that being said, do I think Payday 3 is fun? Yes. Do I think it's good? Right now? No. Could it have spent a few more months in the oven? Absolutely. It just feels very half-baked compared to its previous iteration. Which feels absolutely insane to say, considering this title has released a whole 10 years after the second installment. I don't know. I think they really just didn't want to miss or push back some sort of deadline, so they released it, but the game could have definitely used more work. I'm sure in the future, after a few updates and content drops, this game is going to be insane, and I'm still excited for the future it has, but a little disappointed with the launch. If I had to wrap this all up into a rating 1 to 10, I think I'm going to hit it with a 5. It's honestly pretty mid. Which genuinely hurts to say. I was really excited for this game to come out. Hopefully they can just get everything ironed out soon. So that's going to about wrap it up for our review here today of Payday 3. If you've also been able to play, feel free to comment down below and let me know what your experience has been so far as well. Also, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like and subscribe for more content like this. And yeah, this has been Lunar, and I'll catch you guys later.